What's good, y'all? The Toronto Raptors continue their winning ways, perhaps not exactly in the way that you would have expected coming into this game, especially if you're somebody who was playing the records, because the Brooklyn Nets are not a great team, but they have been a little bit better. They've been turning a bit of a corner without Cam Thomas. And I think that tonight, if we're being fair and if we're being honest, the Brooklyn Nets thoroughly outplayed the Toronto Raptors for the majority of this game. This really came down to the Raptors have the play style on their side. They had home court on their side. They had talent on their side. Yes, even without RJ Barrett for much of the second half. We will talk about RJ Barrett getting hurt. We will talk about Brandon Ingram's struggles. Even without Jakob Poeltl on injury management, the Toronto Raptors start Kelishvili in his place, get Colin Murray-Boyles back, lose RJ Barrett in the second half on that dunk, comes up with a knee sprain. Yes, even with all of those things added, it is the Brooklyn Nets, and you have a mega, advantage in terms of talent and play style. What the Brooklyn Nets had going for them tonight, quite frankly, is energy and execution. The Brooklyn Nets played better, they played harder, they won the rebound battle, and quite frankly, they just looked a lot sharper. Their passing was very sharp tonight. They found open shooters left, right, and center. It felt like they were moving at a different pace. I apologize for the delayed live. A couple things right now. Number one, this live is going to be a little bit shorter than the majority of our post-game lives, which go 2-3 hours. This is going to be about an hour and 20 minutes. We'll take some callers towards the end. We are starting a little bit late because I was on playback, also covering the Clippers versus the Cavaliers game. We scrolled around a little bit with the WNBA draft. Shout outs to the Dallas Wings for getting the number 1 pick. Shout outs to the Toronto Tempo for getting the number 6 pick. That was preordained. We will definitely talk about the Tempo and collegiate basketball. Fingers crossed, Flau'jae Johnson coming to Toronto would be great. And yeah, so we had to do this a little bit late because certainly I'm not the type of person who is willing to do a post-game live when just perusing the highlights. No, I actually had to go and watch the whole game. And I watched it. Thankfully, I watched it without commercials, so I got to see the whole thing. And, shout outs to a lot of players who played really, really well today. Jakob Poeltl came off the bench, and he was insanely good. He has now followed up 2 really, really good games. One incredible game, one very, very good game, and another incredible game. So if you're looking at it, Jakob Poeltl has turned around his season. Kind of a predictable thing that happened with him last year as well. Came out very, very cold, continued on, got a lot better. He's a rhythm player. He is here, and he is going to get a ton of minutes. He might even start for this team tomorrow night. The Raptors are on the first leg of a back-to-back, and the team that they are up against whooped the Cleveland Cavaliers. So kind of a mixed bag in terms of how I feel about having to miss a Raptors game to cover another team and then, having to watch the Raptors game after. But the good thing is I got to watch a lot of Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. And if the Raptors put up this level of defensive effort against the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow, they're going to get smoked by like 30. So, with Darius Garland back, Donovan Mitchell playing well, everything going on with Donovan Mitchell and that Evan Mobley connection, the Raptors are going to have to be very sharp. And obviously they're going to need Jakob Poeltl back. So let's take a look at a little bit of what happened tonight. And we'll start with the Brooklyn Nets, the team that, in my opinion, despite not leading at any point in this game, played a really good game. Michael Porter Jr., really efficient, 25 points on 18 shots. Defense has always been a concern. Noah Clowney took every single Raptor to the basket, off the dribble, really physical. Mamu does not offer a ton in terms of resistance on long, athletic bigs like that. And he also got, Michael Porter Jr., he got on the glass. Nick Claxton, that is a huge front court. We're talking 6'9", 6'10", 6'11". And you, quite frankly, are undersized. You're starting 6'9", 6'9", 6'9". And quite frankly, Brandon Ingram and Sandro Kelishvili are nowhere near like that level of physical. So it left a lot on the plate of Scotty Barnes, who ended up with, surprise, surprise, another 6 stocks. Scotty Barnes making a very solid case right now in lieu of Victor Wembanyama's injury for a potential defensive player of the year. I really think Scotty deserves it, if I'm being honest. I think Scotty Barnes has sort of earned that defensive player of the year tag for me, at least. I actually forgot to turn on monetization on this video, so just give me 1 second. I'm going to turn it on right now. Can't be missing out on those dollars. And yes, of course I did. I apologize. Just lost $10. Whoops. Okay, so getting on to the game here. Off the bench, Tyrese Martin just went crazy, just went absolutely crazy, and the Raptors let him. The Raptors absolutely let him. I think Drake Powell added some very good minutes off the bench, and we got to take a look at Day'Ron Sharpe. Let me know if you're watching this video after, or if you're watching in the chat right now. How did you feel about Day'Ron Sharpe? Did he move you at all in his 17 minutes? Did it feel like, hey man, this is the kind of guy that maybe if we got him, he could set some solid screens for us, get a couple offensive rebounds. He ended up getting 6 rebounds and 5 points in his limited 17 minutes, made both of his shots, and generally speaking, was a bit of a pest around the rim, right? Just generally speaking, just very good. I liked what I saw from Drake Powell tonight. And, not a lot from Zaire Williams, probably out on him, if I'm being honest, right? I was just kind of out on him. On the Raptor side, Brandon Ingram with 14 points on 18 shots. He had a really tough night. Just be honest, a really tough night. A lot of shots forced, a lot of tough finishes, a lot of, contested shots. The ones that he made, the 6 shots that he did make didn't feel like the greatest shots in the world to be taken in the first place. I feel like maybe he felt a bit of a pressure to put on a show for the home crowd. This tends to happen with BI at home games. He tries to force a lot. I've liked him a lot better on the road, if I'm being honest. But yeah, 6 for 18. He's gonna make them. He's gonna make them, but not the greatest effort from him in terms of just execution. But made some good plays down the stretch. There was that play where he immediately darts it out, quick post touch. They get it on him. He has a mismatch. He throws it out to Jamal Shead. Jamal Shead whips it over to Emmanuel Quickley. Speaking of Emmanuel Quickley, 4 for 11. He started this game out, I believe, 1 for 7. He did not look good to start this game out, and certainly is off the heater that he was on for most of the last 6-7 games. And honestly, this just comes down to the fact that he's missing his most important teammate. There's nobody who is more quintessential to Emmanuel Quickley's success on this team right now than Jakob Poeltl. He is his screen partner, and without him, he has a very different offensive role. And frankly, I think the best of Emmanuel Quickley tonight came off the ball when playing with Jamal Shead. Those two in those lineups are absolutely insane. Now, here's a fun stat that we're definitely going to talk about a little bit on our members only live, which is going to be around 11:30 p.m. Shout outs to our members. I apologize. It was not my intention. I actually did have a really weird day where everything got screwed up midway through the day. I'll share it with y'all a little bit later. I really don't want to talk too much about it, but basically everything got pushed forward 2.5 hours today. I did have an intention to do the members live around 5 o'clock, but nevertheless, the members live is going to be on passing. It's not specifically going to be on Jamal Shead's passing, but when we're talking about passing and we're talking about Toronto Raptors, you can't talk about passing and Toronto Raptors without talking about I would argue, best passer on the Toronto Raptors, Jamal Shead. Shout out to Scotty Barnes, great passer, but Jamal Shead this year is second to one player in terms of passes per 36 minutes in the entire NBA, and that player is Nikola Jokic. And tonight he comes off the bench, gives you 24 minutes of heady point guard play, gets to the line an incredible 11 times, was super assertive, driving the ball on the weak side, and got all of his teammates involved, even through that pass to Scotty Barnes, in the fourth quarter, which pretty much sparked the Raptors pull away towards the end. I mean, if you didn't watch this game and you were somebody, who's just yeah, I guess the Raptors blew them out. No, they didn't. In the second half, the Brooklyn Nets absolutely came back into this game. It was a 2-point game, and it felt like it was 2 points, 0 points, 4 points, 2 points. It was close. It was really close in that third quarter. And I think 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, this was a deadlock game. So yeah, you could totally lose this game. And, I'm sure from a psychological perspective, the Toronto Raptors had their eyes set on Cleveland tomorrow. That's the big prove it game. That's the game that really counts in terms of, finally facing a team. You've already beat them twice before. And now they're going to come into their building. You're going to come into your building. They're going to be motivated. They have Darius Garland. They have, all the title aspirations in the world. They are a second apron team that has 4, mega expensive players. They're all in. The Cleveland Cavaliers are all in. They are a veteran-laden roster. They are big. They are physical. And quite frankly, they're a good team. And you beat them twice, right? So there's a lot of motivation and a lot of narratives online. And it's very easy to just overlook a game like this. This is a trap game for the Toronto Raptors, if we're being honest. And Jamal Shead, down the stretch, even in the first half, to me, the way that this guy is able to dissect defense, make the quick pass, make the quick read, he is very non-discriminatory with his passes. He doesn't have his mind made up I'm going to pass to Grady Dick on this possession. I'm going to pass to Ingram. I'm going to pass to Barnes. No, he waits for the opening. He's extremely patient. He's very fast with the court processing. And for a player who doesn't have a ton of shooting gravity, doesn't have a lot of scoring gravity, went 0 for 2 from 3 tonight, for him to consistently just use the limited impact that he does have, right? He's not the greatest paint finisher. He's not the greatest driver. He's not the greatest floater guy. He's not really great at anything. It's just such an old school, heady, hard nosed point guard. He's not the greatest defender either. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like he puts in a lot of effort defensively, but he's totally outmatched on many nights. If he gets cross matched onto a Alonzo Ball or Tyrese Halliburton, he's not at an advantageous situation here. He tries insanely hard. He does the right thing all the time. So shout outs to him. The Raptors have 8 guys in double digits tonight. 8. Let's count them out. Jamal Shead leads the charge, 11 points. Grady Dick, 12 points. Sandro Mamukelashvili, 12 points. Emmanuel Quickley with 13 points. You got Brandon Ingram with 14 points. RJ Barrett, who led all Raptors in scoring before exiting the game 20 minutes, into his night, he had 16 points. Jakob Poeltl had 16 points on a ridiculous 6 for 7 shooting. And Scotty Barnes led all scorers on the Raptors with 17 points on just 13 shots. And he finally broke his streak of not getting to the line. So shout outs to Scotty Barnes for that. The refs finally gave him a little bit of respect, but not a lot of respect. Not a lot of respect. And we're going to take a look at, some of the shots that Jacoby made. But man, what an impressive, overall turnaround for Jakob Poeltl. Going 4 for 5 from 3. Just looks really confident. His teammates were patient with him. This is the second time, that the Raptors have had a guard who's gone through a bit of a cold shooting streak. Well, actually, it's the third time because Ochai Agbaji is still amidst his cold shooting streak. He goes 3 for 7 tonight, 0 for 1 from 3. Does anyone want to tell me what Ochai Agbaji is shooting from 3 right now? Is it like 7% now? He don't look confident at all. But, Ochai Agbaji, shout outs to him. He ends up with 6 points. And Colin Murray-Boyles returning from the injury. He had 2 points. I think he had some really positive moments defensively, but nothing to write home about in this game. And JW19. I should just call you JW19 because that's too much of a mouthful. Tonight, Scotty got to the line, but BI got 0 free throws. It's ridiculous. BI definitely got hammered a couple times, man. He got hammered like a couple times going to the basket. Darko Rajakovic got a technical foul. Jordi Fernandez got a technical foul. Didn't seem like anyone was overly thrilled with the whistle tonight. Felt like the Nets got away with a ton of contact. But honestly, the Raptors got bailed out a couple times as well. So, yeah, I mean, overall, looking at the team stats, the Raptors do manage to win the assist margin again, which is great, right? They've been doing that pretty consistently, and that's going to be a huge subject of our members live tonight, which is this ratio of assists to passes, like how many of your passes actually result in assists. And we'll take a deep dive through some pretty fascinating data in terms of what that stat actually projects out. A little bit of a amble or hint into that live. I will let you know that there is a particular team that from 2014 to 2018 led the league in that stat, and you won't be surprised to find out that it was the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry. So the Raptors are certainly building on the back of that. And one of the things that I really want to talk about in that live, the members only live, is the Harada method, and something that I think will be really fascinating in terms of understanding the broader picture of what the Raptors are trying to do here. But yeah, overall, you give up 47% to a team that isn't great offensively. Let's just be honest. You give up 35% from 3 on 31 attempts, on 34 attempts. And I feel like they could have hit a few, man. They missed a couple wide open ones. The Raptors saving grace tonight, they made their threes, right? Jacoby goes on an absolute heater, right? Just absolutely goes nuts. Emmanuel quickly makes his 3-pointers. You get that game clinching, let's call it game opening. Sandro Mamukelashvili, he gets one in the first quarter, one in the fourth quarter to end this game. Brandon Ingram, he hits 2 for 5 from 3. So it really felt like, apart from Jamal Shead and Ochai Agbaji, pretty much everyone was hitting their threes tonight. Scotty Barnes did not attempt 3 tonight, going 3 for 4 last game. So yeah, so overall, this is a game that you could have lost, easily could have lost, but instead you don't lose it, and now you are 12-5. 12-5. So I think at some point we're gonna have to start talking about the actual history books. Like, at what point do the Raptors go off to the best start in NBA in Raptors history? Because get through the Cavaliers tomorrow, and we'll take a look at that game now. Without RJ Barrett, who will presumably be out for 2 weeks now. This is not going to be something that is just going to be easy. But if you get past the Cavaliers, we'll take a look at your upcoming schedule here. Your upcoming schedule gets a lot easier after that Cavaliers game. Get through the Cavaliers game. November 26th, you go up against the Indiana Pacers, once again at home. Then you have 2 road games, Charlotte and New York. And then you have the Portland Trail Blazers, Los Angeles Lakers, and Charlotte Hornets. There's a chance, and I'm not saying it's a good chance, especially now without RJ Barrett, but if Jacoby plays well, Grady continues to play well, and maybe, Sandro Mamukelashvili and, someone can give you something. Colin Murray Boyles can give you something. You might be able to weather the storm of RJ, because I do think you're a better defensive team without RJ. So, we'll see. But you get through Cleveland tomorrow. That's 13-5. Let's just say, hypothetically, you get there. 14, 15-5, 16-5, 17-5, 18-5. Get through LA, you're 18-5. Again, like, this is presumptuous, right? But to those of us who just wanted a 500 start through the first 10 games or first 20 games, we've already crushed those expectations. You lose 9 straight and still be, pretty good team, sitting comfortably in the Eastern Conference. And right now, the Raptors, they have hold. They have hold of second place in the Eastern Conference. And right now, I'm thinking you take out Cleveland tomorrow. If you don't take out Cleveland tomorrow, there goes your second place, because now you're tied. You would still hold second place because you hold the tiebreaker between the two teams, but still, the gap narrows. But if you take out Cleveland, now you have a commanding lead. You have a commanding hold to that second seed, and then just hold it for the rest of the season. Don't lose it again. Just hold it for the rest of the season and keep winning basketball games. Keep stringing them together. The schedule does get very hard at some point, though. It gets brutally difficult around January, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You end the season, Denver, Atlanta, Charlotte, Boston, 2 Phillies. That doesn't seem that brutal. That really doesn't seem that brutal. Where does it get brutal? Does it ever get brutal? I remember thinking the Raptors have a pretty easy schedule to end the season. I mean, you know what? It's kind of at this point right now where you're just like, you're a team in the Eastern Conference, right? Like, sure, there's Milwaukee, okay, February. Okay, here we go. February. Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee, OKC, San Antonio. There's a chance you go 2-5 there. 2-5. But if you have like a 14 games over 500, 2-5 does not hurt you. It's perfectly fine. Zebolos 91 said, Cavs are going to want this W. No yak, it's an L. Well, thankfully, I have not heard anything about Jakob Poeltl not playing. So Jakob Poeltl should play. I will agree with you. If Jakob Poeltl does not play, there's no chance the Raptors win tomorrow night. However, he specifically did not play this game against the Nets to be able to play on the second of a back-to-back. This is injury management in a nutshell. I do think the Toronto Raptors can hold water without RJ Barrett. I know there's probably some people out there who think it's going to be over without RJ. We already probably were in a 50-50 game, and RJ going out makes it like a no chance. But I'll remind you, they're missing Max Strus. They didn't play Lonzo Ball tonight. I'm not sure if Lonzo Ball plays tomorrow night. So, a lot to look at there. Let's take a look at the film breakdown, and then we will take in some callers. If there are callers, we will take callers. 100%, we will take callers. What the hell? Here we go. Okay. Give me a sec to load this up. Okay. So it started well here. Okay. So first, the Raptors were off to a very, very hot start here against the Nets. Scotty, here, Brandon Ingram is running down the court here. And again, freeze the defense, wait for this to materialize. Quick pass to Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes run the baseline here with Emmanuel quickly, sideline, and boom. Perfect. Just patient. Get that shot to go down. The Raptors do get a ton of assists. Ton of their field goals off of assists. Here, RJ Barrett attacks early in transition. Finds, hey, I've drawn 4 defenders. I've done my job. Now, the worst thing that he could do here is pass to Brandon Ingram, because that's going to be an automatic turnover. Thought about it. Decided not to do that. Pass right to Scotty Barnes coming up. And Scotty takes less than a half second to make this pass right to Sandro Mamukelashvili, and boom, we are right off. Okay, so again, it's just connective passing, but this team has like that DNA of we are going to look for the right play as often as humanly possible. Once again, in terms of baskets coming off of assists, Jamal Shead, right? What's the right play here? Does anyone know? Does anyone who didn't watch this game know what the right play is here? Right now, you need to get deeper, get that paint touch. Jamal is excellent getting the paint touch. And now here, we're thinking there's two options that are opening up. Two options. See, you keep getting into the paint. There's two options that are opening up. Option number one, right, is get it to RJ, right? He is cutting down the middle here, and you're going to be able to make that pass. Reject RJ, and now you have a wide open. So once again, does RJ get credit for that? No, he doesn't get any credit for that. But him cutting into the paint at that moment is what frees up Jamal to make this pass to Jakob Poeltl. And I think that is just a brilliantly timed cut for RJ Barrett. Obviously, looking for the basketball there, doesn't get the basketball, but I think it is to the team's benefit because going up against Nick Claxton in the paint, probably not the greatest idea. Okay, here we go. So off a broken play, Colin Murray-Boyles mishandles it a little bit. Jamal Shead needs all of half a second to get this one up to Jakob Poeltl. And unlike earlier in the season, there's absolutely no thinking right now with Jakob. Jakob is not thinking about basketball right now. He's playing basketball, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Now watch this sort of underrated defensive play. They didn't talk about this. They didn't talk about this play at all on the broadcast, but here, Jakob and CMB. I like my chances with these two on the court. Okay, on the same side of the court, if you're an offensive team, if you're Tyrese Martin here, you better find a different side of the court to attack my guy, because like I would throw this right here across to Yegor Demon instead of trying my luck here. And quite frankly, you ain't got a chance to get this over CMB. Good job. But again, it's two guys working together to stop that play. Now, talked a little bit about Brandon Ingram having some tough finishes. Y'all let me know. Are these fouls? Right here. A little bit of contact there. Yegor Demon, clearly foot inside. Just able to stand there. That's a foul. That's 100% a foul. And he should have gotten 2 points there. Should have gotten now here, goes into it. A little bit of contact on the lower body, but just a really tough finish. Kind of gets thrown off balance, gets the offensive rebound here, and tries to go back up. So, a little bit forced, but honestly, the refs swallowed their whistle. And that's Brandon Ingram, man. That's an all-star. And the Raptors are a good team now. And I don't understand how at home we're getting disrespected. They're getting to the line more than us. Devil's advocate, maybe being fair, not biased. They probably attacked a little bit more than we did. If we're being honest, the refs definitely blew a lot of calls, but they blew them on both sides. Here, Brandon Ingram, he don't need that much space. Brilliant. Wide open three. Good pass. Good pass over to BI for the wide open three. I said crazy shot. This is just talent. And it really is. There's nothing you can scheme or do about this. This is just Brandon Ingram having, that's a really long defender in your face. That is Nick Claxton. That is an insanely long defender to hit a shot over. Claxton does a good job here. Bothers the release, bothers the setup point, and bothers the release again. This is a great defensive job and a tough shot that Brandon Ingram hits. Wonderful. I say Scotty Barnes DPOY agenda gonna go crazy. 6 stocks again. Okay. Scotty was a menace defensively. We didn't talk very much about Scotty Barnes. Thought he had a very, very underrated game tonight in terms of a playmaking perspective and definitely from a defensive perspective here. Good job, Emmanuel Quickly and Sandro Mamukelashvili to deter this drive by Noah Clowney, and Scotty just gets in the last second and just blocks that one away, triggers transition. The aforementioned RJ Barrett injury, to those who are squeamish, this is not necessarily graphic. It is just, however, sad. You definitely don't want to see a player getting hurt. Definitely a player who is having a very good year overall for RJ Barrett and has been a huge part of the Raptors winning, perhaps redeeming himself a little bit, right? There's a lot of narratives out there that Scotty, that RJ Barrett isn't a contributor to winning, and now you know what? He's on a team that's 11-5. So what are you going to say now? And here he comes down and knows it right away, that right knee, and he's just like, uh oh, and he immediately starts going, uh oh, and he is going to go right to the bench. This play results in another steal where Sandro Mamukelashvili comes down. And the heartbreaking moment here is what he does when he gets past the fans. So here he's just trying to keep it tough, keep a tough face. But it's like once he gets right here, you're going to see him that right there. So right in front of her name, I'm forgetting right now, something Michaud. Michelle. Is it Michelle? Michelle? No, that's a crazy name. Danielle Michaud? Yeah, it's Danielle Michaud. So right in front of Danielle Michaud, and he just lets out a big fuck. And that's when you knew, like, that's at least when I knew this was going to be very serious for him. And 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and he already heard, earlier in the season, hey, like, maybe you're going to stay in the starting lineup. Maybe you're not going to stay in the starting lineup. So certainly, if the Raptors go on a tear right now, start playing really well, he comes back, maybe that starting lineup job isn't there anymore. So certainly feel the pressure for him. But also, I think the more likely thing to happen is the Raptors struggle without him. Quite frankly, is 20 points of production. You got to replace it somehow. And what he does is very important, and it's going to move everybody up a pecking, up. And maybe you don't feel too good about this 2 weeks ago because Jacoby was playing like ass, and Grady is definitely not going to help you defensively very much. But I think right now with Jacoby playing better, with CMB back healthy, hopefully those two can do something. Also, I would say probably not the conventional name that everyone goes to, but the Raptors 905, I think, started the season out 6-0. 6-0 for the first time in franchise history. If you think about the fact that that team has actually won a championship before, they just started out for the first time 6-0, and they are really good. And the reason they are good is because of Chucky Hepburn, AJ Lawson, Jonathan Mobile. There are a lot of good guys on that team. And I haven't watched a ton of 905. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a 905 expert. I genuinely, if I could change one thing about the season, I would go back in time and make sure that I'm watching every single 905 game. That team is doing incredible shit. They play great, selfless basketball. I've seen a little bit. I've watched a couple games, and Chucky Hepburn has been a revelation. So, I understand, the Raptors don't have a lot of point guard depth, but there's some players on that team, on that 905 team, who can maybe step in and give you some stuff. AJ Lawson is just so good. AJ has been really good. It's like weird. You watch AJ Lawson sometimes, you watch even Elijah Martin sometimes, you watching Chucky Hepburn. I'm watching Chucky Hepburn in that game where he put up 30 points. I'm like, you too good for the G League. Too good for the G League, not qualified for the NBA. What does that mean? All right, we'll see. We'll see. So here, Scotty Barnes, gets Noah Clowney in the post. And here, just, I don't like the rhythm of this shot. I understand it's a tough shot. Clowney's big. Claxton behind him is big. Got to finish that. Scotty had some really, really tough ones, including that play in transition where he smoked a wide open layup. Like, he had 21 points in the bag tonight and just smoked a couple of really easy ones. So overall, really good night for Scotty, but it can be a lot better. I said Grady Dick is more than just a shooter, and he really is. He really is. Here, dart pass from Colin Murray Boyles, drive baseline here, and perfectly timed cut for Jakob Poeltl. Now, did that cut by Jakob Poeltl remind you of a certain somebody, maybe Mr. Number 9 in the Toronto Raptors? That is exactly what RJ Barrett would have done in that situation. Jacoby is not RJ Barrett, but he has RJ Barrett isms. Like, he has certain things that are Barrett-like. Neither are necessarily the most explosive athletes. Both are very functional athletes. Jacoby just gives you a little bit more on the defensive end, a little bit more in terms of floor spacing. And here, see a little bit of that. And obviously, RJ gives you a lot more in terms of playmaking and all that stuff. So I think with RJ out, you're probably going to see the ball more in BI's hands, Scotty's hands, IQ's hands, and hopefully they can make up for it. I said, God bless Jamal Shead. Now, this is the pass I've been waiting for a Raptors point guard to throw pretty much all season. Okay, just being honest. Scotty seals rookies, point guards all the time, and will make space. Here, Scotty is going to take that little bit of space, wide open paint, and a finish and a dunk. And that right there is not a typo. It was 102 with 5 minutes to go in this game. Don't let anybody tell you this game wasn't close. It was close. And that dunk right there triggered a very strong run for the Raptors. I think the Raptors ended this game on a 15-4 run. And there you go. Jamal Shead, right? Jamal Shead, baby. Ends up drawing a foul on this drive. Very good. His ability to make this shot is probably going to define his NBA career going forward. People ask all the time, can Jamal Shead potentially be a starter someday? Well, his ability to make that shot and his ability to hit open threes is going to define it. Absolutely. Because as a passer, playmaker, and as a defender, he could probably make a case right now that he could start on some low-level teams. But yeah, here, Sandro Mamukelashvili on Nick Claxton. Claxton with a funky-ass shot here. Mamu with good defense. And here, good job, Mamu, getting up and actually finishing the possession here. Tips this to Jakob Poeltl. I'd rather just not play around with that. I'd rather just, bring that down, but that's just me. Good job, Sandro Mamukelashvili. And I said, Toronto is the NBA's best passing team. And I did not stutter. I really do believe, like, there are many passers who are better than some of the Raptors' best passers. But honestly, when it comes to as a team, as a full functional unit, this team is just so good at this. Watch how quickly this pass is going to get down to Ingram from Quickly. And watch how quickly he is going to read and react. Sees the double team coming over, side of his eye. He sees it. Scotty Barnes immediately starts to cut to present him with that option. As he cuts, he takes both defenders with him. Mamu stops short. And as that happens, Emmanuel Quickly and Jamal Shead here are splitting the difference between Terrence Mann here. And Mann is late on IQ. He doesn't need that much space, and it's perfect. It starts with the 1, 2, 3. Okay, just start counting passes in 1, 2, 3s. Here's one decision. The second decision is a multi-decision where the Raptors will often do this. They will decoy, right? It's a decoy. This cut by Scotty Barnes presents you with an option if they miscommunicate it, but it's largely a decoy because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get the ball back to the top. And here, instead of selfishly taking the shot, when you have a wide open three-point shooter like Emmanuel Quickly, who is just way better at this than you, get the ball back to your guy, man. Get the ball back to your best shooters. The best teams find their best shooters. I certainly did not see Draymond Green looking off Steph Curry. So, you know what I mean? I said Scotty Barnes, DPOY, clutch, man. Now, I like to count. Why don't you count? Count at home how many pursuits on the basketball Scotty Barnes makes on this one sequence. We are up 8 right now. This game is pretty much in the bag unless something really stupid happens. And Scotty's like, okay, so I got to just really dial up for a minute on defense and make this all go away. Perfect. Bet. Let's do this. Here, pursuit number 1, right? Deflects the ball. That's a deflection. Let's go. Pursuit number 2, getting past this screen, getting around it, even though I got super high hips. Pursuit number 3, stop this jump shot. Boom. You can tell MPJ, that's not a shot fake. He was trying to go into that jump shot. Number 4, make a play on that basketball, on that pass. Number 5, help on this drive. Boom. And number 6, steal the basketball. Now, let's count it out. I said 6, right? 6, where does it start? 213. So between 213 and 206, he made 6 plays defensively. This is your defensive player of the year. If he's not defensive player of the year, he is a first-team all-defender. This is a ridiculous effort to make in a game where you are up 8, dog-tired. My God, man. Good job for Scotty Barnes. Okay, let's get to some callers. We got Jay. We got Naveen Bose. So we got 2 guys here. Jay, what's up, man? First caller, three shows in a row. What's good, man? I think you're muted, bro. You are definitely muted.
Sorry about that. I was just saying that, yeah, this show's that damn good. I always got to tune in, you know what I'm saying? Especially when the Raps be winning like this. This is crazy. It's such a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no Jakob, no problem. Not so much, right? I think that your boy Daron Sharp, he's kind of missed over here, right? Even though we never had him, but we kind of need him because I think you mentioned that he got like 6 points, but he was like disrupting shit down there, down low, right? The guys couldn't get into position, a big man, and he was getting rebounds too. Like we need that, especially like when Mamu was sitting, right? Because like we really didn't have nobody. We had the rookie kind of playing that position. We had and like at the end in the fourth, we had to go small. Like we had no choice, right? So
But there is advantages to everything when you're small, right? Especially when Scotty is like your big in that situation, or Mamu Scotty is your big. I
you're
mean,
mobile.
you are mobile, that's one thing. You're mobile. Number two, you're more skilled, right? I mean, for all we can say about Jakob Poeltl and guys like Daron Sharp, they're certainly not skilled like NBA guards. So I think like you're mobile, you're a little bit shiftier, you're a little bit faster, your off ball cuts are a little bit better. But obviously, if you can't close the defensive possession, you keep giving up like offensive rebounds.
Offensive, yeah.
You're never going to win a basketball game because the other team has got 100% chance to score. So yeah, so I think the Nets are an interesting challenge.
That's
They're
how they
obviously
got into it, man. We were on top, like looking good, and they got back just with like good rebounding, good position down low. That was it. Like I was just seeing like the repeat of like the last game of the Raptors getting dominated, uh, especially during their defensive rebounding. So yeah, but you know what? You know what sucks the most though is RJ, taking that knee, like literally, like that's not good for us because he's like bringing 23 points. I mean, lately, right? The last 2, 3 games, like pretty consistent, right? But even during this winning streak, like let's say he's contributed a lot, right? So that's gonna be missed. But I gotta say that Jacoby and I think Ochai and even Grady, like well, Grady's just killing it. I've been looking at his defense. He's playing some good defense and like making very good decisions. Like I'm feeling like he's almost looking like he's got the experience now to make wiser decisions. Like
Mhm.
he's playing very well, playing with confidence, and even like
Right.
Ochai. I know the last game he was like very shaky. Now he's making some good defensive plays. Hit some shots. But yeah, Jacoby Walters, he's another guy that, like you were saying, like he has those cuts that RJ likes to make down the middle. He had one. I mean, Shed had one too from a BI pass later. But like, I think they can. They have people that can step up for them in the absence of RJ.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. The real foil saying Ochai shouldn't be playing. Bobby is clearly forcing Darko to play him. I mean, that's part of it. I'm sure. The Raptors got to make a tax clearing move at some point. The logical move is going to be Ochai. Either you like dump him for a second to get under the tax, or you actually get assets for him. The Raptors are quite famous at dumping assets to get players and then dumping assets to get off of players. It kind of sucks when they do that. And they'll waste a mid-level exception on Dennis Schroeder and they get nothing back for him. They'll spend part of their mid-level to get Kem Birch, get nothing back for him. The Raptors, obviously, asset management says, long term we care about Jacoby and Grady, but short term, we care about Ochai Baji, playing himself back into rotation because honestly, Ochai is redundant on this team. It's a little bit redundant. You got AJ Lawson in the G
Tough.
League, on a two-way. It is tough, but that's the business of the NBA. There's only so many places for mid wings, right? Like, I mean, you just watched the Nets last night. How many Nets wings are better than Ochai Baji right now?
At least 3 of them.
Did Drake Powell look better than Ochai Baji tonight? He's a rookie.
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. But comparable, like he's not like. I'm just saying, like I'm happy to see him like getting into the rhythm, but like it's like what you're saying. They're probably just dangling him for a trade. I guess he's got to get his trade value up because,
Yeah.
Jacoby was a high draft pick. That guy needs some play time, unfortunately, and
Ochai
we
was an even higher draft pick. He just wasn't our draft pick, so we don't care.
right.
He was
Oh,
ironically, he
okay.
was drafted by Cleveland.
Right. Wow. So I didn't know how high he went, but
14th.
okay.
So
Yeah,
he was a
but
lottery pick. Like we call Grady a lottery pick. Ochai was a 14th overall pick. So he's a
then what
lottery
was
pick too.
Jacoby?
19th.
Okay. See. Okay. All right. So I guess I don't know. I guess they're just going cheaper because they want to pay. They don't want to pay
And
Ocha.
Jacoby's a better player. Like I don't know what to say. Like I think a lot of people have to look at this from this perspective. Ochai benefited tremendously from Kansas winning a national championship. Preseason that year, when I was following the draft, people had him as like the 30th pick, 26th pick, 25th pick, 20th pick was the highest. They win a national title, you know, great program, the Kansas Jayhawks. He gets a lot of credit for being their best player, rightfully so. And he ends up going 14th overall. Masai was very high on him. The previous year, he and Masai met prior to the draft. And Masai gave him some notes on like, this is what you got to improve. And he went back to Kansas and he improved it. So, you know, shout outs to Ochai Agbaji. I don't think like when Masai got moved, like when Masai got fired, I guess, the two players that I immediately thought of is like those are Masai guys are Ochai and Ulrich. And you know, one's out and one's on his way out. So unfortunately, it's just the business. But I think Ochai, a lot of his weaknesses, his limitations, dribbling, you know, creating anything off the dribble. He's the only player on this team that really doesn't project as a positive passer on any level, right? So I think you could probably make a case that like he's just always been the odd guy out, but last year he shot so well from three and they weren't really trying to win that it doesn't really matter. He kind of papered through it. But he has a lot of weaknesses as a basketball player and defensively, you know, in order to survive in the NBA on your defense or on your shooting is very difficult. Like you have to be a specialist, you have to be top 10th percent. You have to be like 90th percentile shooter or 90th percentile defender to survive on one of those two things, right? So like if you're Duncan Robinson, sorry, I be getting white people confused sometimes. My bad. So if you're Duncan Robinson, yeah, like you could survive because you like a 97th, 98th percentile shooter, right? And if you're you know, even Ben Simmons, like Ben Simmons survived for a long time. His offense was shit. Like, you know, there's a lot of guys who survived primarily because of their defense. But honestly, at some point, Rudy Gobert is not a top
No,
anything
there's
offensive
no.
player.
Yeah,
He's just defense. He's just
that's
defense at
it.
this point.
Or rebounds, or barely rebounds.
Well, yeah, I mean,
He gets rebounds just because he's vertically inclined, but um, he does. I don't know his toughness for rebounds, but one thing I was noticing in the fourth was I wanted Bi to get the ball more and take over. I want to see him do that. Like I don't. I know he's just maybe trying to take it easy, but I think we need him to like down the stretch take over and but at the same time nobody was really looking for him, right? He was signaling
sure,
for the ball. They weren't really passing it to him. Um, and I know the ball was getting around, just not to him. I wanted him like have. I know this is against like the team, how the team functions, because the team likes to move the ball around. But I still want to
right.
see him just take over because we're gonna need him to take over. Sometimes he's a superstar. Like he was a star caliber player, right? So
I don't know about superstar,
I
man.
mean,
Like,
when he
I
was on the
mean,
floor near, he was the highest star player on the floor at the moment. Like I don't know if Scotty was on the floor, but it was like him, Mamu, Shed.
Scotty was on the floor.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So
like I mean, he's a talented specialist. Like he's a specialist in most regards, and he's a generalist in some. So
mm,
as a passer, I wouldn't call him a specialist. So like Lonzo Ball would be a specialist passer. As an isolation scorer and as a mid-range scorer, he's a specialist. But as a three-point shooter, as a paint finisher, he's more of a generalist. Like he is not like when you talk about superstars, they are specialists in like 8 zones, 6 zones,
mm,
right? Like
yeah,
Luca is a specialist in the pick and roll. He's a specialist in the post. He's a specialist on pull-ups. He's a specialist in so many regards, right? You gotta check a lot of boxes to get superstar out of me, right? Scotty maybe has 7 games a year where he looks like a superstar, but the rest of the games he just looks like an all-star or a starter. Brandon Ingram, he'll also be in the same range. He'll have 5, 6 games a year, 6, 7 games a year where he'll look like a superstar. He'll fill it up. You know, he'll participate defensively, get you 2, 3 blocks. He gives you 8, 9 rebounds, 5, 6 assists, and like maybe 30 to 40 points. You can be like, damn. But superstars are not like 6 times a year guys. Superstar, you get superstar because you do that every single night,
Well, the
right?
thing is, I'm think he's trying to ease his way, right? Like
Yeah, but
that's what I'm thinking.
we
Like,
watched Scotty we watched BI his whole career. So unless you're thinking at 28 he's about to dramatically jump up a level, like Scotty's not a superstar. No, he's a star. He's not a superstar. Uh, most people like would agree that Scotty's been the best player on this team this year. Ingram's been the best scorer.
yeah,
Scotty's been the best overall player
overall,
because the defensive impact is just so huge.
yeah, yeah.
If you're not a better player than Scotty Barnes, you're not a superstar. Not a superstar at all. But like his skill set is so impressive because he does draw attention to himself like a superstar. Like when he catches the ball and they swarm two at him, you could swear he is Kevin Durant. In that moment, he is like Kevin Durant. He is like a Kobe Bryant, in that moment. But it's like a specific zone on the court where teams guard him like he is a really great basketball player. And when they don't guard him like he's a really great basketball player, he put up 30 points, right? So it's like they're playing him towards what they think is his weakness, which is they assume that he's not going to pass. But I've
But
watched
he's
Brandon
a
Ingram for a
gifted
long time.
passer.
He's a good passer. He's a really
Yeah,
good
yeah,
passer.
yeah, yeah. He's
You
always
know,
looking. Yeah.
yeah, I think he's like the third best passer on this team after Shed and
After
Scotty.
Shed, okay, all right.
Dude, Shed is crazy.
I love Shed, man. I love that guy. His game is just keeps getting better and better, and just like you know what I really like about him. I think it was I don't know which game, but the anthem was going right, and then Jacoby was right beside him because he was mic'd up, right, and he's like telling Jacoby, "Yo, sing,
Sing,
man,
sing,
sing."
sing. He
Yeah,
also said today that he's looking forward to getting his Canadian citizenship.
what he's about it, eh? I love people like that can appreciate like I come from a developing nation, so I can appreciate Canada. I know these guys can too, and unless they just choose not to, um, Canada is so amazing, right? So I feel I like it when like these guys feel at home. Like even at the end of the game when Emmanuel was getting interviewed, he I don't know the person interviewing him asked him like, oh, what was it the defining factor? He's like, oh, the fans got us into it, the fans, and fans started cheering for him with his interview. Like, I love seeing that. Like, these guys want to stay here and play here, and I feel like that just drives them more, right? I mean, I would be too. Like, this guy's getting paid millions, right? I'd be happy too, but at the same time, like remember with Kawhi, like we almost trying to give him the whole city, and the guy actually, he said no, I guess, but which was like a
You can't
bad.
compete with home, man. You can't compete with home. That's how I see it. You can't
Yes.
compete with home. He's from LA. He decided to go to LA. I got no hard feelings about it. Anyways, man. Any final thoughts, Jay?
Let's keep it rolling. I don't know. Tomorrow's gonna be tough, right? But Jakob's gonna be in, like you said. We got Jacoby, we got Ochai playing well, so I think they might supplement the scoring. If Grady keeps going like what he's doing, like who knows? We can just ride off his because he's been getting progressively better, right? So I feel like it's gonna be a tight game. But just the veteran presence of Jakob could like help us, brave the storm. And I'm still going. Like we're hot. Like Raptors all the way. I know, like the analytical part of it is trying to tell me otherwise, but like you gotta go with just the culture that's been built in the last 7 games, and that's what I'm saying. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. All right, man. Peace. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you for
you.
having me.
Yeah. Naveen, what's up, man?
Yo, man.
How's it going?
How's it going?
It is going well.
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, shit, I can't hear you. Okay, I'm just going to dip.
Okay. We are just looking at this here. Keontae George missing a 22 jump shot, 22-foot three-pointer for the game. The Utah Jazz with a very commendable comeback. And give me a W if you ended up catching the Sacramento Kings smacking the Denver Nuggets last night. Anybody can lose to anybody in the NBA. It's not a joke, man. The Denver Nuggets in back-to-back weeks have lost to the Chicago Bulls on a second half of back-to-back. Crazy Josh Giddey game. And also just lost to the Sacramento Kings. Now, Sacramento could be a fundamentally different team with Keegan Murray. I'm a very big Keegan Murray fan, but like, my God, man. And it is worth noting that the Denver Nuggets were also without Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown. So they're missing some guys here, but my God, man. Like, you know, you got the best player in the world. You're going up against the Sacramento Kings. They're also not playing. They don't have their best player either, Domantas Sabonis. And yeah, I guess people are trying to come up with a name for Jamal Shead. I've heard Steady Sheddy. I just want to stay away from anything that compares Jamal Shead to Fred VanVleet. He's nothing like Fred VanVleet. He doesn't have a Fred VanVleet bone in his body. No disrespect to Fred VanVleet. He is 100% Kyle Lowry. He's always been Kyle Lowry. Jamal Shead is Kyle Lowry 2.0. Like, I made this comparison the second I saw him. You see him at Houston, he was like this, especially when I saw him in the summer league, saw him in preseason last year, saw him playing for the Raptors. It just felt like, okay, he does all those little things that help you win, just like Kyle. And it's funny because he's obviously friends with, you know, Fred VanVleet. He took his number, reached out to him, all that stuff. So, you know, shout outs to Fred, but like, for real, he is way more Kyle Lowry. Like, if Fred VanVleet could pass the way Jamal Shead, if Fred VanVleet could pass the way Jamal Shead could pass, Fred VanVleet would have been my favorite player in the league. No cap. Fred's a good player. This is exactly what he lacked. The Jamal's superpower is Fred's biggest weakness, right? Because Fred, as a defender, up here, right? As a shooter, especially relative to Jamal Shead, up here. Passing, though, oh my God, dude. It's levels. It's levels and levels. And I'm not even saying like Fred's some terrible passer. It's just not even close. Quote, Jordy runs same flair at the top for MPJ maybe 30 times a game. Nets fan roasting play reputation. Porter's 25 points per predictable sets. Let Raptors defense adapt late. Fair. I have seen that same set many times. That is a fair analysis. I mean, it's not going to make the difference in winning the game or losing the game, but sure, yes. Jadon said Jalen Johnson, Cade, and Franz have all lapped Scotty offensively. Unfortunately, Dayron didn't look very good today either. You know, don't trust everything you think. You know, maybe sometimes it's okay to just not know what you're talking about. I think Jalen Johnson has lapped Scotty Barnes offensively because he gets out in transition and dunks the basketball 4 times. My God, man, you don't know basketball. Unfortunately, you know, that's cool though. It is 10:30. Yeah, like I don't think that's true at all. I don't think that's true at all. Cade, maybe offensively, if you're just like, yes, I'm seeing what he's doing. Are you seeing what he's doing? No, he's not better on offense. Why can't Scotty do that then? Did your parents hurt you? Like what is this compare? You know, comparison is the thief of joy, right? It's not like Jalen is a very different basketball player than Scotty Barnes. I don't know why people compare them because they're both 6'9" and they both handle the basketball. Scotty is a way better passer than Jalen Johnson. First of all, let's start there, right? I think Scotty is 100 times better, not 100 times better. He's like a 5 times better defender. Way better, right? Cade went 14 for 45, dumbass. Yeah. Like Jalen is in a completely different like role right now, but his skill set is also very different. They are a good defensive team. Nickeil Alexander-Walker plus Dyson Daniels plus him plus Onyeka Okongwu plus occasionally Kristaps Porzingis. They have a ton of spacing, right? Like you understand, like the paint is wide open when you play for the Atlanta Hawks. The paint is always clogged if you play for the Raptors. In fact, let me show you something, buddy. Because again, this is a thinking fast and slow thing here. Hold on. Let me show you one of Scotty's finishes, and you let me know what Jalen Johnson would do in this exact situation. Okay. Take a look at this. Take a look at this picture. This is a Scotty Barnes drive. Okay? He drove baseline, and this is what he's come to. How many players are in the paint right now? RJ has cut into the paint. Jakob Poeltl is there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in the paint. Dude. Almost averaging a triple double. You can't even talk to people like you, man. I'm not even trying to gas it, bro. But like, if you think this way, then you must think that Russell Westbrook is like a better player than Michael Jordan or something, or like whatever, man. This number stuff is like, it's bizarro, bro. Like, respect to Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is awesome. He's also been insanely injury prone. He is also insanely inefficient at creating his own offense in the half court. So yes, Jalen Johnson is a second option. Awesome, right? But don't box score merchant everything, okay? Like, don't be that guy. But like, this guy had 30 and 20, so he's better than Jakob Poeltl. He's not better than Jakob Poeltl just because he had 30 and 20, because screen assists count for something, defense counts for something, shooting counts for something. I don't know. Anyways, final caller of the night, AG. What's up, man?
What's up, Rob? I'm just responding to this guy, bro. Cade is like a volume scorer that stinks. He's not even that good of a scorer. The amount of shots that he takes, he should be averaging well over 30 points. Like, bro, like, I don't want to hear anything about Cade. The guy is mad overrated. His team is built perfectly to play his style, which he's like a one-dimensional player, bro. Like, Scotty could literally
Who's the
play
best player on the Pistons right now?
I think Jalen Duren's better. Like, he's just that he's so dominant. Like, and besides, Scotty can literally adjust his game to play any style like the Raptors need him to play. If they need him to be the point guard, he could do that. They need him to be a big guy, he could do that. Like, he's the most versatile player in the world. Like, I don't know why people keep, like, Raptors fans are shitting on their best player. Like, it's so it's just whatever.
It's just this guy. I mean, we can all see what Scotty's doing. We can also see what he's not doing. No one is up here saying Scotty is a perfect basketball player. He's had a lot of, stinky finishes this year. He's had tough shooting games or whatever. But like, I personally, I think Cade is good. I think he's very good. I think he's patient on the pick and roll. He's been really, he's a dynamic ball handler. He draws a ton of help, ton of, his shot creation is very good. His finishing, though, is a different story. His finishing talent, physicality, ability to finish at the rim, ability to finish in the mid-range at times, ability to shoot sometimes, it can be very questionable. His ability to control turnovers. This year, his turnovers have been down. It's been much better. Last year, he led the entire league in lost ball turnovers. Lost ball turnovers are not off of passes. They're just literally, I'm dribbling, and I dribbled it off my foot. So just tough to put Cade in the conversations that some people want to put him into. He is a top 20 player in the league for me, but so is Scotty. And Jalen Johnson is not in that conversation for me. I think Jalen Johnson is like a top 40 player. So the gap is really like it's like, I remember Raptor fans used to compare, believe it or not, Shea and Pascal, right? Giannis and Pascal, right? They used to compare these guys. They used to compare Luka to Pascal. Ridiculous. That to me is the same thing as like some of that stuff. And honestly, like, I'll tell you who Cade actually does remind me of sometimes. And I mean, no disrespect, because he's definitely a better defender than this guy. He reminds me of Raptors DeMar DeRozan a lot, actually. Yeah. Just with souped up volume, on his
more willing
passing, willing and more skilled passer at the same age. But I will remind you that DeMar DeRozan became a very, very good passer after he left Toronto. When he went to San Antonio, he became a great passer. Mm-hmm. So maybe more than that, he reminds me of a better version of San Antonio DeMar DeRozan. And like, again, the context of winning around why the Pistons are so good is their defense. He is nowhere close to their. It's like this: if the Raptors right now are winning because of two-way basketball, they're definitely winning more because of their offense, but they have a scheme offensively that Scotty is a really huge part of. I won't say Scotty is their best offensive player, but he's definitely a top 3 offensive player. And defensively, he is their defense. He is their best defender by a mile. So the Raptors are like a top 12, top 10 defense with like a top 7, top 8 offense. They're a two-way team. The Pistons are a very defensively slanted team. Cade is not a good defender. I don't know what to tell people. So this is like, it's a little bit like if you threw 2000s Jerry Stackhouse onto the 2004 Pistons. Yes, he would be a 30 point scorer on a championship team, but he wouldn't be the reason they're winning a championship. Right now, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, that team is just so damn good. And if you want any evidence of it, they win games without him constantly.
Rob, this will settle this debate, which is not even a debate for me, but this is for the casuals. If you were to replace both players and put them on their on their teams, like Scotty in Detroit and Cade here, the Pistons probably don't lose a game, and the Raptors would they wouldn't have the record that they have now. They would be a lot worse, and the Pistons would have clear and away the best defense probably since
am I counting health into this? So Scotty plays every single game for the Pistons and Cade plays half the games for the Raptors. I agree with you. I don't think the Pistons lose.
No, even healthy. No, even healthy. Like, sorry, because here's the point. Okay, Cade is literally being hidden on the defensive end by the Detroit Pistons. I watched their games. I've seen it. Okay, and it's like, bro, Scotty is the everything for us defensively. He's literally everything. And then you put him on that team with those kind of defenders that they got over there, they would be historically great.
You know something? I think both teams get a little bit worse, if I'm being honest. At health, both teams get a little bit worse. I think the Raptors become untenably bad, though, because as much as Cade would help to settle offense, he also is pretty redundant with Ingram and Barrett, I think. Mm-hmm. And Barnes, while he would stabilize their defense into possibly OKC territory, if we're being honest, they still need a go-to scorer. So if we put Ivy back, and Ivy can do a little bit of ball handling and stuff and creation, or if they at least even had a Dennis Schroeder, like they need a lead handler, and I don't know if Scotty is that. But what I'm not
gonna lie though. I believe that Scotty could be that guy. He's just such an unselfish player that he is literally adjusting his game. I believe it, bro, because I've seen his skill work and I've seen how he's developed over the years. He could really play that one-on-one game that everybody, because when he actually puts his head down and tries to do that, he dominates in spurts. But the thing is, he's such an unselfish guy, and he sees all the talent around him, and he sees the way our offense is built. So he doesn't defer, but he adjusts his game to match. But when he needs to get a bucket, like the other game, he goes off, and it's like nobody can stop him because he's such a mismatch, right? So I don't know.
Jaden saying, so if pretty much the entire NBA fan base thinks the way I do, including PC, then they are tripping. I will remind you, Jaden, that 2 years ago, the entire NBA fan base thought that the Pistons should blow it all up, that their young core of Asar, Cade, Beef Stew, Jalen Duren, and all these guys that are currently top of the East should be disbanded out, and they were all trash. I will remind you that the entire NBA walking into this season thought the Toronto Raptors were going to be a garbage team. I will also remind you that the entire NBA, including PC, thinks, or at least walked into 3 years ago thinking that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't really anything special, and then he won MVP. Being consensus doesn't make you right. Speaking to like everyone thinks this is right, so it must be right, is a really dumb way to think about anything. You should form your own opinions. You should, in my opinion, listen to people who disagree with you and agree with you and form your own opinions. But if you are appealing to, well, everyone thinks this, so it must be right, well, then shit. Zion Williamson must be the greatest #1 pick ever, right? James Wiseman must be amazing because we all thought he was amazing. Reed Shepherd, trade him, last year, terrible basketball player. Marvin Bagley, definitely better than Luka Doncic. Let's not even talk about that. Like over and over and over, right? So it's just like, Hanson Yang. What were people? You know what? People run away from their takes. I will not run away from my takes. I immediately said I don't think Hanson Yang is good. Adam's like the 50th ranked player on my board. I didn't think he was good. Okay. So when he started playing well in Summer League, I didn't do an about turn, but people were saying crazy stuff. They were like, oh my God, he's going to be Nikola Jokic. Ron, shout outs to PC, said he's going to be better than Donovan Clingan this year. Donovan Clingan. Fuck out of here, man. He can't even get minutes in the league. But, he was one of the most trending topics. People said Bronny James was a really good NBA player. Come on, man. People think a lot of stupid things. They're not necessarily true. Not necessarily true at all.
That's herd mentality. I never listen to that stuff, to be honest. I watch with my own eyes. I look at the stats. But going back to the game, though, I will say this 2-point guard matchup, the lineup is not going to work against a lot of teams. It's just not. Just because of the size.
What team it will work against?
Brooklyn Nets.
Cleveland.
And also Cleveland. It'll work against Cleveland,
Mhm.
especially unless they try to drive it inside. Then they'll just get stuffed. But yeah,
Well, the problem with the 2 point guard thing is who is your 3, 4, 5. So if you're 2 point guards, so let's just say, for instance, without RJ Barrett, right? Who
Mhm.
closes games? I'm actually going to petition. I think it should be Jamal Shead.
I agree.
And if it's not Jamal Shead, it should be Jacoby. And if it's not, because I need to get something back, right? It's kind of the Cade Scotty thing.
Yep.
If I'm going to lose this much on offense with RJ, I need to get it back with not shittier version of RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ochai Baji. I can't do that. No, what I need is I need to flip my script and say, okay, well, how can I change my identity to be good at finally something and try something that RJ isn't really good at, which is the defensive end. So I'm going to try to use my best wing defender. So either go Colin Murray-Boyles and just get supercharged and big. I think as much as I hate the idea that RJ is out, because I don't want any Raptor to ever get injured. I was hoping every single Raptor to be healthy all season, with the exception of Jakob Poeltl early in the season. But I was like, man, let's avoid injuries. Injuries can also be a great time to experiment with certain lineups. And I think that this will give the Raptors a chance to look at how to go really big, right? Number one, Colin Murray-Boyles, go really big, right?
Mhm.
Go really small, Jakob Poeltl or Jamal Shead, right?
Yeah.
Maybe go double big, go Sandro plus Yak, and then go super big with the backcourt of Scotty and IQ. See how that looks. There's so many opportunities to experiment and see what lineup actually works in this case. The best part about this, though, is your closing lineup is not guaranteed.
That is true, and it's also like it's a testament to the Raptors' versatility in terms of their players. What I will say is it depends on the matchup, right? Like you said, like tonight it was good, right? Having Jamal and IQ out there, it was a good matchup for them. However, against teams like Houston or bigger teams like that, it is not going to be ideal at all. And then I would, yes, in that case, I would experiment using instead of him, I'd go probably, I don't know, Mamu. Colin Murray-Boyles, right? But I like the idea of Mamu and okay, you know what? I actually wanted to ask you: have we tried to have both Mamu and Jakob Poeltl on the court same time?
I don't think so. I'm actually gonna check Data Baller to see if we have. Not that I recall, but there might have been like a 2-minute thing where we did it, but I don't think they have played together.
Yeah, okay.
And that would be very interesting if they have. Let me just see here. So they have played an exact 0 minutes together. We have never put them on the court together.
I want to see that in motion, because a stretch 4 with a solid 5 like that, it could be something. I don't know. I like it. And then
we have tried. So let's just see how these lineups have actually performed and see like what actually looks good. So the starting lineup would be Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Brandon Ingram. So let's just try to add somebody to this and see how it works. Mamu has never happened. We have 0 minutes with this lineup because Mamu and Jakob have never played together. Jacoby, 2 minutes that this lineup has played. Unfortunately, they lost 65. Like negative 65. It's bad, but it's 2 minutes, and honestly, not enough time. Jamal Shead, 8 minutes, negative 8.3. Really small sample size. Clearly, not the end of the world. Grady Dick, negative 33 in 2 minutes. So again, the Raptors don't really play around with this too much. Jamison Battle, 2 minutes, negative 100. Whoops. Ochai Baji, 2 minutes, negative 116. Colin Murray-Boyles, it has never happened. So either way, you're going to see something you've never seen before in your life tomorrow, this season at least. And it's crazy to say the best bet is probably just Jamal Shead. But honestly, I think the best bet is the lineup you haven't tried, which is Sandro Mamukelashvili. And then you just let CMB and Jonathan Mobo run backup 5. Yep. And just trust that they'll be, and if it's not Sandro, I really just want it to be Jacoby. Fuck the negative 65. I don't trust it. It's 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. And yeah, that's what I would do.
And I'd bet those 2 minutes were from games where he was struggling to find a shot.
Probably, yes. Because Jacoby has been like, a tale of two Jacobys. It's like the last 4 games and then the first, whatever games, 10 games. And the first 10 games he was lost. I'm a huge Jacoby fan,
Me too.
lifer Jacoby fan, and I was like ready to just be like, okay, maybe this isn't going to work out, So I'm very happy for him. Glad that this performance follows up that live that I just did yesterday, which is like Jacoby Walter is awesome. But yeah, he will have a chance. He will have a chance to really prove himself. I think he will be the recipient of most of RJ's minutes, if I'm being honest.
You know what? I like the defensive effort that Grady's showing. Like he today was pretty good too with his hands, good hands on the ball, smart decisions when he was cutting to the basket. Like I'm really liking his turnaround. He's looking like a good NBA player right now. So good for him, And Jacoby is also coming into his own. So we're actually starting to see our wings do a good job. Even Ocha had a couple of drives where he made good decisions straight to the basket. So I'm pretty happy with the Wings right now so far. Obviously, it's a big loss losing RJ, but I think we can still stay afloat. And I trust our coach, because he's pretty smart. So I trust him to adjust. But interesting. It's going to be a big game. I'm excited tomorrow. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. It will prove a lot. And obviously, one game is still one game. We've already beat this team twice. I am totally ready. Like, if the Raptors lose by 20, for everyone to be like, it's all fake. We finally went up against a good team. But I feel like this is what I'll tell everybody. Win or lose, it doesn't change the season at all. Like, in a larger, broader perspective, you are 11-5 for a reason, because you're a good team. You closed out tonight because you're a good team. You closed out Charlotte because you're a good team. Right? You're a good team that occasionally goes into bad habits and clearly has some roster holes and, some players who've struggled. But, I think if we lose by 20 tomorrow, it doesn't change my opinion on the season. But if we win by 15, it doesn't really change my opinion on the season. I just maybe feel 2% better if we win than if we lose. But, without RJ, I'll be very curious. I'm approaching with a lot of curiosity. I'm mostly just curious to see how it all looks. Because I have a feeling that with no more RJ to pass to for Emmanuel Quickly, he will finally be unlocked to make good decisions for Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah. All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling in, AG. Appreciate you calling in. All right. Peace, man. Okay. W to AG and W to Derek Lively. Shout outs to AG. I'll keep teasing you for that one. Okay. So we are gonna call it a night here, but to our members, I am still working on our members live tonight. I got like 20 more minutes. I put in like an hour earlier. I will let you know why this everything was late today. So last night, dusted off the panini maker, made a lot of paninis. Probably not the greatest idea to eat that much bread, but whatever. Dusted off the panini maker, made a lot of. This morning, my girlfriend's like, man, you know what I really want? French toast. Now, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because, like when you're having paninis at 2 a.m., like a crazy person, you're probably not going to get a ton of sleep. But nevertheless, I did wake up early enough that I'm like, man, maybe I'll get a couple Z's later. But I already woke up like pretty late today, like 11 a.m. Start hanging out with my girlfriend, make some French toast, and I fuck up the first French toast. I have to do a taste test, screw up the second French toast. Realize I've never made French toast before. I'm learning something new. So 7 or 8 toasts later, like I realize I have eaten an uncomfortable amount of gluten right now. Not gluten intolerant or anything, but just that amount of gluten is probably not great for you. I decided to take a nap. I take a nap at like 12 o'clock. I wake up at 3:30 and I realize I had 2 hours of work that I had to put into this members live. Plus, my girlfriend and I, we have this deal where if I don't go to the gym 4 times in a week, I owe her money every single time. And I still had to go to the gym. So I was like, damn, I got to do the playback stream. Plus, I got to do the Raptors game at 6 o'clock. Plus, I got to do this. And I got to do the members live. And I just ran out of time for the members live. So I've decided to push the members live to 11:30. It will be a really cool one. It's going to be on passing. The value of passing, maybe why passing is a little bit overrated or underrated, but ultimately it is going to come down to passing. And it is going to be about what the Raptors are doing in the broader spectrum. Shout outs to our members. We have a whole bunch of new members on this channel. Shout outs to Erica Plays. Shout outs to a lot of familiar faces showing up on our members' lives. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. So you are somebody who's going to be able to see it because you're a member. Your girl is a real one. Why? Because because she ate a ton of toast this morning. Robbie A. Sounds like a classic hater, but good luck anyway. Rob, why does your girlfriend make you go to the gym? Are you getting fat? No, I'm not getting fat. Do you look at me? I'm not fat at all. No, I asked to be held accountable. So I have certain rules for myself. And one of them is I made a deal with myself. I got to go to the gym 4 times a week. And if I don't go to the gym 4 times a week, I want someone to hold me accountable. So what I do is I say, if I want to be in shape, I got to go to the gym 4 times a week minimum. And if I want to go to the gym 4 times a week, I want accountability. So it's like an accountability buddy. Don't worry, though. Oh, absolutely. Carl Franz saying, damn, your sleep schedule is wild. If I did that, my life would explode. Well, I try to tell myself that I am a creative who does his best work late, but hallelujah to that. Anyways, 11:30. I will see y'all for the members live. It's going to be a dope one. It's going to be like 20 to 30 minutes. It won't be super, super long. There will be some film involved. There will be some crazy numbers involved. But I'm going to keep working on that. Yeah. Cheat day pigouts are sick. Tariq saying your girl is a real one for holding you accountable. We hold each other accountable. That is very, very important. I think that is a very important thing to any partnership is you need to hold each other accountable. You need to be able to do that for each other. Can you speak on the PCL? I don't really care, man. To be honest, I didn't walk in thinking we had much of a chance. Maybe that was my mistake. I probably should have walked in thinking we were going to be great. But unfortunately, I didn't walk in with a lot of confidence and we lost. I got smoked 3-0. I don't think I lost that last debate, but you know what? It is what it is. Last time, I felt like it got robbed in the PCL by the judges. And I came out here and I was like thinking about it for 2 days. This time, I got bigger fish to fry, man. I got much bigger fish to fry. Way bigger fish to fry. I have a mortgage to pay off. And to me, like, did I ever share that 90-second thing with y'all? Or did I just share that on the panel? Did I ever share the 90-second thing with y'all? Let me know if let me know if I've shared the 90-second rule with y'all, and I will spare myself from repeating it. But I do like to give little pearls of wisdom towards the end of these. No, I didn't. If I can get a second no from someone who I recognize as a very regular viewer, I can. Yes, this. This is a very fair question. And honestly, if I had known, I probably would have done it differently. But yeah, mistakes made. Nope. Okay, cool. So basically, put it like this. Every single response you have emotionally, whether that be fear, whether that be anxiety, whether that be anger, is a 90-second storm. Okay. Now, give me a W if you remember those globes. You remember those snow globes that everyone used to have when we were kids? You had the snow globes. Okay. Basically, that snow globe, when you shake it up, when you set it down, if it's a really good snow globe, really high quality, it's about 80 seconds to 90 seconds to calm down. That little snow globe is your brain. Okay, so in a nutshell, when someone cuts you off in traffic, you are pissed off. But that pissed off is a 1 millisecond emotion that lasts for 90 seconds. If it lasts longer than 90 seconds, you're doing it wrong. What do I mean by that? It means that when you're pissed off for 15 to 20 minutes, you're not actually pissed off for 15 to 20 minutes. What you're pissed off is, like, you get pissed off and then you get pissed off about being pissed off and you get pissed off about being pissed off about being pissed off, and it just keeps going. It's like a wave of 90-second pissed off, and within that 90 seconds, if you think about it again, get pissed off again, and it just keeps going, keep going. There are people who have been pissed off about something for 30 years. They've been mad at the same person. This person cheated on me, blah, 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 blah. Super mad. Okay. So that's the one thing, is if you want that shit to stop, 90 seconds, give yourself 90 seconds. And in those 90 seconds, breathe. Touch your hands, feel your fingers, count your breaths, take deep breath in, out, breathe. Don't think about that thing. Let it go. Say something soothing to yourself. And after 90 seconds, you will be fine. The second thing that I came across the other day, which really meant a lot to me, was that people are really addicted to their painful stories. I was broke growing up I was broke becomes part of your identity. I was a victim growing up. People hurt me, people abused me, people weren't very nice to me. This is pain, obviously. And people become addicted to their pain because you've worked so hard for it, right? Your pain has become an identity. And people will do a lot of things subconsciously to keep themselves trapped in the identity. So it's a little bit like I grew up in a prison. Let's just say hypothetically you did grow up in a prison. You will say blah 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 blah. Rob, I will hold you to the 90-second rule when you are mad at me. Sure, you can do that. So if you grew up in a prison, right? Let's just say hypothetically you grew up in a prison. Your life was horrible. You grew up in a prison. That was painful. You didn't have a lot of freedom. You got really shitty food. You grew up in a prison. You also remembered the fact that you grew up in a prison. So you say that very many times. I grew up in a prison. I grew up in a prison. I had a really tough life. I grew up in a prison. Cool. So now what you don't realize is when you go and finally get out of that prison, you build new prisons within your non-prisons. The food that became familiar in prison suddenly becomes comforting. It's really fucked up. It's not supposed to be, but it's comforting. It's just like if, for instance, when you were young and somebody who was ridiculing you 24/7 and, abusive to you 24/7 also happened to be the person that you had to rely on to keep you clothed and bathed and fed. That person becomes a blueprint for what you naturally hope to aspire to for the rest of your life, and so too does your surroundings, your environment, your pain. And a lot of people have to let go of their pain. And I know that it sounds like I know that it sounds a little bit weird, right? I know that it sounds like, well, why would I be addicted to my pain? I'm trying to get rid of my pain. And I know it probably sounds heartless for me to say you got to get over it. But the truth is, if you don't resolve it, right? If you don't resolve the painful thought, you don't resolve the painful memory, you just keep playing it on loop and repeating it everywhere you go. Now, how does one resolve it? Am I just going to plug therapy here? Definitely. If you need therapy, go get therapy. However, one thing that can really help is writing things down. It's surprising to me the number of people that I meet on a day-to-day basis who don't write anything down ever because they type things. However, when you write things down, some very amazing things happen in your brain. It's really great for neuroplasticity, and it's really just great overall for memory, retention, and also for resolving things. And sometimes what you need to do is just write for 20 minutes with no thought, no idea, no editing, just write everything you think about a situation for 20 minutes and then close it. Our brains are very hung up on open loops. Sometimes writing helps us close those loops. So I hope that was helpful. Shout outs to the Toronto Raptors for winning this game against the lowly but surging Brooklyn Nets, who are talented and who certainly could have delivered a win. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who take wins against teams like the Nets, the Hornets, the Wizards, and say, come on, Rob, it's the Nets, it's the Hornets, it's the Wizards. My question to you, of course, is because your wins and the Raptors' wins are so devoid of, any enthusiasm, any credit, you won't give credit. I understand why you won't give credit, but understand this also. If the Raptors were to lose tonight, what would you say? Would it still not count? Would it still not matter? So therein lies the sort of blueprint of your life as a Raptor. You've suffered so much as a Raptor fan. Whether you became a Raptor fan in 2004 or whether you became a Raptor fan in 2019, friend, you have suffered a lot as a fan, okay? I think most fan bases have suffered. Raptor fans have definitely suffered. I was reminded the other day that the worst team in basketball history, the 7-win Charlotte Bobcats, actually got 2 wins on the Toronto Raptors. How did I forget that? Because I watched both games. I watched both of those games. Andrea Bargnani played the second one. DeMar DeRozan, Amir Johnson, Ed Davis. That team lost to the Bobcats twice. Dark ages for sure, right? We have seen the dark ages. We have seen free agent sleep. There's a lot of pain that is associated with being a fan, especially a Raptor fan, especially if you were young when you became a Raptor fan. You've seen nothing. but misery. And yes, you saw a championship. And then you promptly saw, for the first time ever, the guy who delivered the championship, the best player on the championship, can just walk away and leave. So I understand that pain has been a really big part of your Raptors experience. And so when you win against the Nets, there's this moment in your brain, which is like, I could be happy, man, but misery just seems so much more familiar. And so you discount it. You have really a top 20 player in the NBA in Scotty Barnes on your team. You have one of the best scorers in the league, Brandon Ingram, who chose to come to your team. And what? Nothing. He's a bum. He's too injury prone. So yeah, a little bit of joy in your Raptors enthusiasm, in your Raptors fandom wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I'm certainly having to remind myself of that because the last 4 years have been a lot of pain for me too. And, if I don't sit here and control it, then what's going to happen is I'm going to look for painful patterns in a perfectly peaceful solution, right? It's like the person who comes back from Vietnam and still thinks the war is going on, right? Rob, what days are you on PC this week? Will you cover the Spurs and Jays? I am on PC Tuesday and Thursday this week I think. I'm on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm on Tuesday and Thursday this week. I'll talk to y'all later. Shout outs to our members. I will have y'all covered in 27 minutes. We're doing a live in 27 minutes. I'm going to give my mouth a break because I have been on the playback stream and then doing this. So I'm going to give my mouth a break for like 20 minutes and then I'll see y'all at 11:30. All right. Peace. Bye-bye.